This thing is honestly really terrifying. After watching this video, if you're a buyer, you might not even need a buyer's agent anymore. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, today I'm going to walk you through step by step how to use this AI tool to better help you understand property valuation. For just 33 UN a month, it can do the work of a 3,300 UN team. This video is absolutely the first of its kind online. This tool has already gone viral in the US. Surprisingly, no one in Australia has shared this yet, and seller agents might not be able to trick you anymore. If you're a seller, you can also check the estimated price yourself before asking a seller agent. Just take 3 minutes to find out how much your house is really worth so you don't get deceived by agents, because a lot of seller agents, they usually quote you a high price at first to trick you into signing the contract and then later manage your expectations. I'm already prepared to be criticized for making this video, but I genuinely want to selflessly help our Chinese community, so let's get started. First, as you can see, I randomly picked a property online. Here are the details. It's in Forest Hill with a 900 to 1,000 square meter lot. I think it has pretty good potential for appreciation. First of all, I don't know the owner and I don't know the agent either. I just picked a property at random. So this tool here is Google's Gemini. In the IT field, or even in other industries, it's already being used like crazy. The entire US stock market has been falling, but Google's stock price stands out, all because they released this product. Now, because I know some people from my previous work experience at Google, I pulled some strings and got early access to an extra feature. But even without that extra feature, this tool can still put you in an unbeatable position. As for that extra feature, we'll talk about it at the end of the video. It's even more impressive, like it can help you find properties. For now, let's look at what's available to the general public. This tool costs $33 a month with the first month free. So what is it exactly? It has a feature called Deep Research. Let me show you. Remember, this is what the icon looks like. Let me demonstrate what it means. In the tooling section, there's Deep Think and also Deep Research. Once you've paid, you can use Deep Research. Here, you can give it an address. Just copy and paste the address in, and you can directly ask whatever question you want. Now, let me switch back to the valuation report I was just looking at. See what I asked it? I said, for this property, I'm the landlord. How much do you think my property is worth? You can also change it and say, I'm a potential buyer and I want to buy this property. Our entire buyer agent team shares one account, so there are a lot of past purchase records that this AI remembers. That's why you'll notice that when it answers our questions, its responses are more in line with our team's style. Now let's take a look at what it came up with. First, it tries to understand the question. After about 10 minutes, it reviewed the entire web, as well as many government planning documents, and reached a conclusion. A process that would normally take a team 2 hours to analyze, it finished in just 10 minutes. Let me scroll to the bottom to show you what references it used. When it generated this report, you can see that it searched for all the houses near Forest Hill, checked the records of this seller's agent, gathered a lot of information about this plot of land, and even looked up how much this listing sold for a few years ago with a previous agent, as well as what the interior photos look like. It also searched various websites and even checked HTag. HTag is a very specialized data website that covers things like vacancy rates, the owner occupancy rate for each street, and it even read reports from other agents like Jealous Quick. He has researched all the surrounding houses, and if we look further, he has even studied the nearby commercial properties. He even researched the technology of the vacant lots nearby. After looking into all that, he also checked various things. You see, he even looked into REIV, specifically the average price for properties sold in Forest Hill according to REIV. Honestly, I can't even list it all. Just look. Within 10 minutes, he opened and closed links at a speed that's almost incomprehensible for a human brain, like a machine reading. At this pace, he generated this report for me. You can also see some of his thought records below. Look at his progress report. He first read the current status of these websites and made sure to look over the images. Then he said that some key information was missing because zoning for development is something we pay a lot of attention to. So, knowing that we're interested in this, he referred to these websites and continued to refine his research even further. In the end, he even looked into the council's side of things. I saw that he checked the Whitehorse Council's planning website to see what's planned for that area in the future. This is almost something a human brain couldn't accomplish. Yet within these 10 minutes, he used our team's approach to property buying to conduct this kind of research across the entire internet. He provided a report. First, the conclusion. He thinks this property is worth between 1.55 and 1.65 million, and with an optimistic estimate, it could sell for up to 1.8 million. So if you're the owner, you'd know 1.6 million is probably a fair price. Let's see what price they listed at. If it's listed lower and going to auction, I won't comment much on that, as it's common in Melbourne. But next year, the government will address this issue. As for the rent, this matters more if you're buying as an investment. I wouldn't recommend buying for the rental yield because it's too low. Unless you can renovate, it's almost not worth it. For a property worth 1.5 to 1.6 million, our team would only consider buying it if it could be rented out for $2,000 a week. Otherwise, you'd be losing money, and that goes against our strategy. I won't go into more detail about that. Now, let's look at what factors he considered. He looked at the frontage, 30 meters, which is an extremely rare asset, and the large land size. He also considered what schools are nearby. He knows all of them and even tells you the distances. You can walk to the local public primary school. He also looked at the surrounding amenities and even the development plans for Forest Hill this year and next. The prices of nearby properties properties and the profiles of potential buyers. For buyers, who are your competitors? For you as a seller, which people should you target during open inspections? Let's look further. He also helped me find the prices of nearby properties for comparison. In fact, for landlords or buyers, you can open up each address one by one to compare the condition of the houses and their development potential. Because our AI already has a lot of our development cost calculations built in, it knows exactly what the development costs are. And look, when I use our account to search, it can even calculate the development profit for me. It's honestly scary how advanced it is. Let's keep going. For almost every property, we have the AI continue to analyze the potential for subdivision and development and requirements for gardens, things that even a town planner would have to look up or that you'd have to call the council about, and the staff there would need to check before giving you an answer. Yet the AI can just tell you right away. Let's look further. This is really quite astonishing, and also how land subdivision works. And then as for the rental income, we won't look at that for now. Also look, if you were the landlord today, how would you choose to sell this property? For example, this is really quite surprising. Look, the recommendation rating is 4 stars and it suggests selling directly, doing nothing at all. Let's take a look at the condition it describes and why it gives this advice. Okay, the condition, to put it simply, is that it's livable. Maybe you could move in with your bags, but it's still pretty old. If you were to renovate, it's not so bad that, say, there are holes in the walls or anything like that, so selling as is the most cost-effective option. For example, the kitchen is very old, but it's still barely usable, and you could even rent it out directly. The second option is to sell with planning approval. Don't do anything to it. If you want a 5-star recommendation, then get planning approval. Here, it says the upfront cost is between 30 to 50,000. How does it know this so accurately? It's because we've fed it some data, but don't worry. Even if you haven't provided this data, it will still give you some indication, though it might not be as precise. Look, for development, it only gives a 2-star rating. It thinks that developing the property yourself would lose money. And as for holding and renting it out long term, it only gives 3 stars, not really recommended, because the financial burden is too heavy. You'd have to subsidize the property out of your own pocket. So as a landlord, by now you've probably realized that first, this AI has already given you a rough estimate of the property's value. So when an agent comes to your door, actually, they can't fool you anymore. If someone tells you this property can sell for 1.8 million, you'll know what's going on. So when they're trying to talk you into something, you'll be aware. You might also realize that developing it yourself isn't profitable, and you won't be deceived by builders in the market, because many builders will tell you that you can make money by developing, but after the project is done, whether you actually make money or not, they've already finished their work and pocketed their profits. So this is actually pretty scary. I think in Australia, it's not that no one knows about this kind of thing, it's just that no one is willing to share it. Many agents might already be using these tools, but they're afraid of landlords finding out, because once everyone knows, agents won't have as many ways to mislead you. The second point is that this information becomes more transparent. After that, it will also be harder for agents to deal with potential buyers, because it's very easy. You see what kind of situation will arise. As long as buyers know about this tool, in just 5 minutes, they can understand the development potential of the property or its strengths and weaknesses, even better than the selling agent. So follow me, because I'll be releasing a follow-up episode. The next episode will be even more dramatic. It will show you how to directly go and buy a property.